Hi and welcome to this case study. My name is Harold and I'm the CEO and Head of Growth at Buro Ventures. And this case study is about how we generated 1,293 B2B leads in less than 6 months for one of our software company clients. I'll get into which one it is and what they do later on. In this case study, I'm going to reveal basically these entire lead generation and demand generation setup that we use to drive all of these leads, and we're going to wrap it all up with me describing how you can do it as well. So very briefly about me and us, because I don't want to go too in depth into our background, because I respect your time and I want to keep this case study as a short and sweet case study where you get most out of it. So my name is Harold Riney. I basically started my first business at the age of 12, where I learned how to code, create websites and servers. At the age of 16, my interest in digital marketing sprouted, and I basically became a nerd, trying to learn everything about digital marketing and how to acquire customers and clients online. And as of today, for the third year, I'm running a company called Buro Ventures, which is a growth agency helping B2B SaaS and tech companies grow through digital marketing and advertising. So basically, we run an agency that helps companies like the one that I'm going to show you in generating leads and acquiring customers and increasing ROI. I'm the head of growth at this company, and I've been so for the last 3 years. So the company that we helped is Camo Analytics. They are primarily known as Camo Software, and Camo Analytics, they're a analytical software company empowering companies within oil, pharma, food, and others by reducing waste and improving product quality. They do this by delivering products and softwares for production chains. So basically, analyzing products coming through a product chain in order to validate its quality, mass, and all the different components within a product. They are revolutionizing the industry, and this has been one of the success criteria for this case study, because they have such a good product that no one else in their industry can really compete with them within their specific niche and with their specific softwares. And this is basically the trend. So the blue line are prospects, the red line are leads, and the yellow line is conversations. We started back in February, and we used the first 3 weeks, or close to the first 3 weeks of February, planning and creating the setup. And then we started on the 18th of February. So that's why the blue line and the other lines are quite low, is because we only had like 10 days in February where we actually ran the campaign. We then in March, so about 1 month later, they saw such a good result that they wanted to add a second account to the lead generation and demand generation machine. And then 1 month later, they wanted to add a third account. So over this span of time, from February to July, we generated 1,293 conversations. That's not just leads, that's actual replies into the inbox of the sales reps. And I'm going to now dive into how it's set up. So basically, how did we do it? And in order for me to describe how we did this in a manner that makes sense, we need to go back to the funnel. So when we work with a company, we start with how does the customer journey or the funnel or the process that customers and clients go through look in order to become a client or a customer with the specific company. So we have these 6 steps. we have before purchase, so basically the front end, and then we have after purchase, which is the back end. And the A stands for attention or an awareness. So this is basically where we generate a attention and awareness in the marketplace with their particular ICP, a market, an audience, and then engage them, because that's what the E stands for. The E stands for engagement and education, and the S stands for selection and service offering. O stand for onboarding, I for impact, and G for grow. So we're not focusing on the after purchase with this client or with Camo, we're focused on the before purchase. So the very first step that we did is we identified their ICP, and we used that ICP to build a target audience on LinkedIn in order to identify the different prospects that we wanted to attract and funnel through the entire funnel and the machine that we set up. The second step is that we created a LinkedIn outreach campaign where we basically connected and engaged that particular audience and converted them into leads, or often called MQLs or SQLs. And then the third step is that these leads that were engaged were invited into booking strategy calls, strategy session, discovery calls, demos. They were receiving audits. But this is basically where the client, Camo in this example, took over. So we basically funnel through prospects and leads and engage them and convert them into conversations, and that's where Camo and the sales reps picked up. So let's go through the first step. So the first thing that we did is we entered and we used LinkedIn Sales Navigator. If you don't have the premium feature on LinkedIn or this upgrade, you should get it, especially if you're working with marketing or if you're working with sales. Heck, even if you're one of the owners or managers, you need to get this because it makes you able to create a very targeted and segmented audience based on your ICP. And this is the holy grail that we use. We use LinkedIn as a source for prospects and potential leads and potential customers, and then we build from there. So the way we did this is that we used a couple of segments. So we wanted to basically narrow by geography, industry, seniority level, their function in the company, the title of course, and also the years and current position, in order to find this particular decision makers that Camo needed to get in touch with within the three different industries that I mentioned, within pharma, within oil, within food. And that resulted in something like this. So when we go forward, we create a Google Sheet document of breaking down the audience. Because when we run our lead generation and demand generation machine, we need segmented audiences below 1,000 or around 1,000 people. This is in order to have or being able to split test, doing A/B tests, trying different angles and marketing messages. So in this instance, we had food production, quality managers. They work within the quality assurance area of the company. We don't limit by years and current position. The headcount should be 51 and above, and we want senior manager and directors. And that search with the other industries resulted in an audience about 15,000 prospects. This was the global prospect group for Camo when we started, and with very specific key decision makers, all within quality assurance and quality management, which basically is the decision maker that oversees and makes sure that the quality of the products are satisfactory. So basically, these key decision makers are experiencing the pain of that Camo helps solve. So the way we did it is with this prospect database of 15,000, we ran a LinkedIn outreach campaign, which basically is a set of, or a specific sequence where we had three elements. We had the connection request, where we basically try to connect with the prospects on LinkedIn in order to get them into our network, where you can basically share content, share value, start conversations. And this is where element number 2 came in. Once they're in our network, we ask them a question. Too many companies does this completely wrong. They approach it with a pitch or a sales perspective, where you immediately go into the biggest pitfall of them all in B2B prospecting. And that is assuming that the company you're reaching out to or the person that you're reaching out to are ready to buy. And they're not. By going the salesy route, you will only result in them perceiving your approach or your outreach as spam. And that's not what we want to achieve. We want to achieve a relationship. Because when you're working B2B, it's not a sales transaction. It's a partnership. It's a relationship. And we want to approach the entire sales approach of our company with, let's build relationships. Let's build partnerships. Because that's what's most nurturing. That's what's most rewarding and results in the highest ROI and LTV. So we ask a question that is tailored to the type of company that we're reaching out to and that are tapping into potential challenges and movements in that company that the decision maker are experiencing or can relate to. That makes the entire change. That makes the outreach seem personal and interesting. So we come forth from a perspective, I'm interested in you. I'm interested in your company. Is there any way for me to help? To backtrack a bit, or not necessarily backtrack, but let's take a step back. Human beings are self-centered. We love talking about ourselves and what we do, what we're passionate about, what we are experiencing, our challenges, our pains, our dreams, our desires. And by asking questions, you tap into that psychological thing in human beings that likes talking about themselves. And so that moves or brings us to the third element, which is basically people that doesn't reply, they receive a nudge or a follow-up. So this is the entire structure of the outreach campaign. And we basically tap the 15K prospect audience into this sequence and we automate it all. Everything happens on LinkedIn and we automate it. So if you've tried automating cold email outreach, or you have an automated email marketing sequence for leads and prospects, imagine that this is the same. It's just on LinkedIn and it's not an ad. Because that's also one important element. This is not ads. These are organic outreach. Actually, a message, a connection request, and a message on LinkedIn in the inbox from a connection you have on LinkedIn, which makes us this is probably the number one thing that results in such high conversion rates, because when it's an ad, we see it's an ad, and then it's automatically categorized as an ad in our brain, and ads aren't important, so we don't engage. So automation and organic is the key here. So the third step is, in order for Camo to receive the best result, we basically send all the leads directly into their CRM. So whenever someone connected or replied to our question, that is where we tagged them. So we tagged the lead and the conversation based on the level of engagement, and we funneled them into the CRM system. And this can be done with Microsoft Dynamics, it can be done with HubSpot, Salesforce, and a whole wide variety of CRM systems, but that's the key essence. So all leads were funneled into their CRM system, and they started receiving the nurturing emails and the nurturing program, and also retargeting ads and all of that. So it's basically empowering the sales team with a hot and engaged pipeline. And what's funny is that even though we added 3 accounts, or basically 3 sales reps into the system, we had to decrease the volume. So the images above, so basically the graph that I showed you, this one, this is at 40% capacity. It's not 100. So imagine doubling this. And the average conversation, so very hot lead that we generated, was about 200 conversations a month with this setup. So let's continue. Let's go back to where we left off. So to sum it up, about 14,968 prospects turn into 3,490 connections. This is what I call cold leads. Not necessarily warm leads, but cold leads. They're leads. And then 1,293 conversations. And this is warm, engaged leads. These are leads that have responded to our questions in any matter of form. So it could be a very hot lead where they are engaged. And there are also leads that doesn't resonate with the question, but they're also leads. So they have responded. So that's what we did, and that was the result. And the reason why we set up these machines is because there are tons of challenges that B2B software companies and tech companies face, especially their sales teams and their marketing teams. And that is the lack of leads, it is missing ROI on marketing activities, it is long sales cycles, and it is high churn. So basically, the biggest problem, or the biggest challenge with these 4 typical challenges, is when you combine lack of leads and long sales cycles, you don't have predictability. And when you add in a high churn, then you need to run on a treadmill and do outreach all the time. You need to cold call. So you need to sprint. And then when you lack ROI on your marketing activities, then what the heck should you do? And that's what I want to go through now. And I'm not going to lay it all out here, because the approach and the machine, so basically the lead generation machine, the demand generation machine, it's tailored to your company, or it needs to be tailored to your company. And that's why I want to invite you to a free call with us. This is basically a free demo call or a free discovery call, where we're going to discover what you do as of now and tailor the strategy for you. So during this call, we for the first part, we're going to identify your current marketing activities and sales activities to better understand your current situation. So basically, what challenges are you facing? What bottlenecks are you experiencing? And what glass ceiling are you bashing your head at? And by doing that, we are able to identify and map your ideal customer profile, so that we create an audience that are ready for scaled advertising. So basically, the 15K prospect list that we generated for Camo, that's what we're going to generate for you. And then we're going to create a 90-day plan for how your company can start generating at minimum 50 to 100 leads per month. Just giving you the example from Camo, we generated on average 200 leads per month. The most leads or conversations that we generated for Camo in 1 month was 383. So almost 400 leads in one single month. So down below there should be a button where you can click book a strategy session, book a call, book a meeting, something like that. Click on that one. Then you will open a calendar and you can basically choose your pick. Pick a time in the calendar that works with you. And there should be a couple of questions there just for us to better understand your company and in order for us to do some research before the call. And you will be talking with either me or one of my coworkers or colleagues that are experts at identifying ICPs and generating these 90-day plans, because this is all we do. All we do is focusing on B2B SaaS and tech companies and helping them generate leads and getting clients. So basically, if you're facing lack of qualified leads, you're missing ROI on marketing activities, you have long sales cycles, and I know long sales cycles suck, and high churn rate, then this call is for you. So again, there's a button down below, or somewhere on this page, probably down below. Click on that one, select the time in the calendar, answer a few questions, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you, because I can guarantee you, if we're a good fit, I would very much like to help you and your company. If we're not, then I guarantee you that you will end this call with a plan for how to go out there and generate more leads for your company. That's my promise to you. So it's a short call. We try to understand your company, and we will give you something really valuable. I'm looking forward to speaking with you. Have a nice day.